Okay, in this video I'm going to show you what an in-text citation is, how to format an in-text citation, and how to use quotations effectively in your essay. So you'll see here I have a Google Doc pulled up with an essay that I made up. It's going to be about affirmative action in South Africa. I just picked this topic and I found a source online that I want to use a quotation from. I have my source pulled up right here. It's from a scholarly journal. And I've already put my source into my bibliography. I made another video that explains how to make this bibliography on mybib.com, so I won't do that here. So for my essay, the first thing I want to do is make sure I have my bibliography at the back of my essay, my works cited page. So I'm going to go ahead and copy my works cited page and come over here and put my works cited page at the end. I want to make sure I have my works cited page because I need to use it to figure out exactly how to format my in-text citation. So this is the essay that I pulled that I'm going to use as a secondary source. And you'll see here the author's last name is Berger. So let's go ahead and take a look at the source, and I'll show you the quotation that I want to use. It starts here. Apart from African men who represent the largest single group and who experienced a real wage decrease of 3.3% during this period, all other groups actually received larger than average pay increases over this period. That's a pretty interesting statistic, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. I'm just going to highlight it and copy and paste it in here. This is going to be the quote that I want to use to support my argument. So I've copied and pasted it, but now I have to make sure that I format this correctly. The first thing to do is double check to make sure there are no errors in the copy and paste process. Sometimes there could be an extra letter that pops up or an extra space. So I'm going to read through this quickly, and it looks like there are no issues. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it as it is. It's very important to quote the source exactly as it is. So if I couldn't copy and paste this, if for some reason this PDF was not copy and pasteable, I have to make sure that I will copy the text exactly as it is here in the source. So now that I have my quote in my essay here, I'm going to put quotation marks around it. And now I want to make sure that I am citing it properly. So an in-text citation is going to be an indication of where I got this information from inside of my essay. It's different from your bibliography, which goes at the end of your essay. This tells me exactly where I got my information from. But I don't want to copy and paste this entire citation into the middle of my essay. It would be too long. So I'm going to come up here and just use the author's last name and the page number. Usually that's all we need for an in-text citation. Now the format is very specific. I'm going to put the parentheses and the author's last name, which we said is Berger, and then the page number that I found it on. And you'll see if I go to my essay, it's on page 14. So I'm going to write Berger 14, close parentheses. The period comes at the very end. So let's take a look at from the very beginning. I have my quotation mark, my quote, another quotation mark, a space, parentheses, author's last name, page number, close parentheses, period. That's going to be the format for doing our in-text citation. It's important to quote and do an in-text citation for any information that you are directly citing from another source, whether that's a statistic, a quotation, or a fact. Now the next thing to do is to make this quote fit into our paper. You'll see the way I have it right now, I have one topic sentence. Affirmative action in South Africa has affected different demographic groups in different ways, period. And then I jump right into my quote. We don't want to do it this way because it doesn't give any context around the quote. It doesn't say who said it. It doesn't say why it's important. We always want to introduce our quote, usually with a little bit of a beginning sentence or an introduction. It could be as simple as saying where the quote comes from. So according to, and we'll take a look here, according to, this journal is called, or this organization is called CRISI, Center for Research on Inequality, Human Security, and Ethnicity. So I'm going to go ahead and use the name of the organization that published this article. According to CRISI, and then I'm just going to explain who or what CRISI is. An organization that investigates humanitarian issues, comma. And then because this is part of a bigger sentence, we don't actually need to capitalize the A here. So this is one way that we can introduce a quote. We say who the quote is coming from, what organization it's coming from, and then we explain a little bit about who that organization is. This gives our quote credibility. When someone reads that this organization that investigates humanitarian issues discovered this fact that we're quoting, it helps the reader to know that we have gotten our information from a legitimate source. There are a few other ways of doing in-text citations that I'll show you now. Let's take a quick look at a great resource that gives other examples. This is the Purdue University Online Writing Lab, and I really recommend using this for in-text citations and any other writing things that you need. To find this website, just type in MLA in-text citation in your search bar, and you'll find it's the first link right here. So this is a good summary of everything we've talked about so far. You can see that they give a bunch of different styles for in-text citations, and this is the one that we just talked about. They have the quotation right here, spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, and then they have the author's name and the page number. Down below, they have the bibliography entry, so we know that this quote up here comes from Wordsworth 263, and we know that the Wordsworth publication they're talking about is this one, Lyrical Ballads, which was published by Oxford. So it's important that the in-text citation matches the bibliography entry. But I want to show you one thing here in MLA formatting quotations. These are a couple different ways to introduce your quotes. So we can see here 3 different examples. According to some, dreams express, quote, profound aspects of personality, end quote. And this comes from the source, Folks, on page 184, though others disagree. You can see that this quotation isn't just sitting by itself, it's sitting within a bigger sentence. So it says that some people, including this person, Folks, say that dreams express profound aspects of personality. It also tells us other people disagree. This gives us lots of context around this quote. Here's another way of doing it. According to Folks' study, dreams may express profound aspects of personality, 184. You'll notice the author's name is not within the parentheses here. That's because we've already mentioned who has written it, right here. Here's a third example. Is it possible that dreams may express profound aspects of personality? This is coming from Folks 184. Now you'll notice that even though in the original source, this isn't expressed as a question, we can still use it as a question as long as we're attributing it to Folks. These are 3 different ways that we can do a short in-text citation and introduce it so that people know where it's coming from, who said it, and why it's important.